In the last video, I compared the fruits from Blox Fruits to their counterparts in the original One Piece anime, and that video did fairly well considering the size of my channel. With that in mind, I decided to make a sequel to that video, so in this video, I'll be comparing 6 swords from Blox Fruits to their original counterparts from One Piece by their appearance and attacks, and seeing how accurate they actually are. So without further ado, let's get on to it. The first sword we'll be looking at is the Dark Blade, which is inspired by Mihawk's Yoru, one of the 12 supreme great blades, as well as a black blade. Appearance-wise, there is some resemblance to the Yoru, such as the grip and the guard, but the green surrounding it is certainly original. The old model of the Dark Blade does resemble the Yoru much more, but it seems that the devs had to change the design to avoid copyright. Now onto the attacks. First is the 1000 slices, where the user does a fast barrage of slices, and second is the Dark Air Slash, where the user launches a vertical slash. The Dark Air Slash definitely resembles Mihawk's iconic slash towards Whitebeard, called the world's longest slash, as they are both vertical green slashes that do massive damage. I'll give the Dark Blade a 7 out of 10 in terms of similarity. The Air Slash is certainly accurate, and the blade itself is similar to the Yoru. Next is the Cursed Dual Katana, which is inspired by Odin's 2-sword style, where he uses his 2 cursed great blades, the Enma and the Ame no Habakiri. In terms of appearance, the Cursed Dual Katana is definitely very accurate, as both swords have the same color scheme as Odin's swords, with Yama and Enma being purple and the Tushita and Ame no Habakiri being white. The moveset consists of the Revolving Ravager, where the user releases a tornado that captures enemies and explodes, as well as the Slayer of Goliath, where the user dashes toward an enemy and slices them in an X pattern. The Slayer of Goliath does resemble Odin's iconic Togen Totsuka, the move that he used to permanently injure Kaido in his dragon form. Not only is the attack in the shape of an X, but the Slayer of Goliath also bypasses the dragon fruit's protection, which might be a reference to Odin cutting through Kaido's tough dragon scales. I'll give the Cursed Dual Katana a 9.5 out of 10. It is a nearly perfect replica of Odin's 2-sword style. Next is the True Triple Katana, which is inspired by Roronoa Zoro's 3-sword style, using the Great Grade Wado Ichimonji, the Grade Sandai Kitetsu, and the Great Grade Shusui, which he doesn't have anymore. Similar to the Cursed Dual Katana, the True Triple Katana does resemble the 3-sword style, with the Orochi being inspired by the Wado Ichimonji, the Shizu being inspired by the Shusui, and the Saishi being inspired by the Sandai Kitetsu. However, it is important to note that their designs are a bit different from Zoro's swords. The movement consists of the Wolf Fang Rush, where the user dashes forward and creates a shockwave that stuns an enemy, and the Dragon Hurricane, where the user summons a dragon that generates a tornado, which flings enemies to the sky. The Dragon Hurricane is of course inspired by Zoro's Tatsumaki attack that does practically the same thing, generating a dragon and a tornado which tosses his enemies around. I'll give the True Triple Katana a 9 out of 10. The design is slightly different, but the moves are fairly accurate. Next is the Spikey Trident, which is inspired by Charlotte Katakuri's Mogira, a trident of an unknown grade that he uses in conjunction with his Mochi Mochi no Mi. The appearance is somewhat similar with a 3-pronged design, but other than that, there isn't anything else worth mentioning. The moveset consists of the Do Hurricane, where the user dashes toward an enemy and drills dough into their chest, dealing damage, and the Flying Trident Pull, which pulls an enemy toward the user. The Do Hurricane sort of resembles Katakuri's Mochitsuki, where he drills his Mugura into Luffy, but since that is the only named attack that Katakuri does, the similarities end there. I'll give the Spikey Trident an 8 out of 10 in terms of accuracy. Katakuri never really did anything much with the Mogura, so I can't really judge how accurate it actually is, but oh well. Next is the Bisento, which is inspired by Whitebeard's Murakumogiri, a supreme great blade that he uses along with the Gura Gura no Mi to generate massive shockwaves. The Bisento definitely resembles the Murakumogiri in appearance, as both swords are Naginata-type pole arms with curved single-edge blades on the end. The moveset consists of the Windbreaker, where the user slams the Bisento down and releases 3 slashes, and the Quake Sphere, where the user launches a white sphere forward. The Quake Sphere heavily resembles Whitebeard's Naginata Rasetsu attack, where he creates a quake bubble that devastates the inner part of Marineford. Unfortunately, similar to Katakuri, this is the only named attack that Whitebeard did with Murakumogiri, so the similarities end here too. I'll give the Bisento an 8 out of 10. It has the same problem as the Spikey Trident, where the user never did much with the weapon, so this is the highest I can give it. Finally, we have the Saber, which is inspired by Shanks' Griffin, a sword of an unknown rank. The appearance of the Saber is pretty much how you would imagine a Saber would look like, and I suppose it is similar to the Griffin, so I'll give it points there. The moveset consists of the Deadly Rush, where the user dashes toward an enemy and deals damage, and the triple slash where the user sends 3 red air slashes toward an enemy in a cross shape. The Deadly Rush definitely has some resemblance to Roger and Shanks' legendary Divine Departure, though it is closer to Shanks' version of the move because of the distinct red color. Though this isn't actually one piece, I'd also like to point out that the triple slash is kind of similar to Ichigo Kurosaki's Getsuka Jujusho with the flying and spinning cross slash design. I'll give the Saber a 7 out of 10 in terms of accuracy. The triple slash being closer to a Bleach attack than a One Piece attack is kinda funny in my opinion. Overall, the swords from Blox Fruits, just like the fruits themselves, are fairly accurate to the One Piece series. Of course, just like the fruits, the swords aren't perfect, and do have some variation due to copyright, but I'd say the developers did a good job replicating the swords from One Piece into Blox Fruits. Anyway, that's the end of the video. If you liked it, consider subscribing, though of course you don't need to, and I'll see you in the next video.